simulcasting room at beautiful, highly
Casual seafood, even keel fish shack. Our friends Brad and Dave and Deborah, they know how to get it done. A1A in Commercial, Lauderdale by the Sea. Tell them the Gambling Gourmet, Mike Mayo sent you.
Recently we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call the insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752. Would you go into court without an attorney? So why would you go up against an insurance company without Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa? 7 to 10 times more money recovered with a public adjuster than if you went on your own. If there's no recovery, there's no fee. Give them a call at 954-809-8752. Why go up against insurance companies alone? You can have Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa on your side.
Buy or lease a house and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen. John Gruden. It did appear, and I mentioned this on social media, Lubie, that he was having his emails ghostwritten by John Rocker. Isn't it? Very parallel line of thinking, huh? Gays, no good. Black people, no good. Women, no good. It was ugly, right? I don't know. The only people he spared, really, I mean, it was like Moses came down from the mountaintop with the tablets there and said, please, spare the Jews.
To see what's going on in the NFL is as a result of Gruden, and then what's happening on the field. It's been remarkable, absolutely remarkable. But I think COVID has had such an impact all over on every sport in some form or fashion, and we're watching it play out now.
Everybody's mashugana. You use one of your favorite words there, Tony. Everybody's crazy. They don't know what to do. This Gruden thing is interesting on many fronts, and not the least of which, as Libby and I were discussing, is he spared the Jews.
He did.
Which I thought was very generous of him. We were probably the only people that he didn't disparage in an email to the Washington football team. Now, I know
only you would come up with that. Only you. And here we have a very serious and people don't want to joke about situation, and you would come up with that.
What else can you say? John Gruden, no, I mean, at least this, right? At least he spared the Jews. At least he spared the Jews.
He did. He talk crap about everyone but the Jews.
He didn't say anything about Julian Edelman,
Oh, no.
which is good. Is Edelman Jewish? We don't even know.
He
if
is. He's
Jewish, but
born Jewish.
There were no
and-
disparaging remarks made about the Jews. Everybody else, it was open season. It really was. I mean, we talk about a harpoon. We have put forth to Roger Goodell, who's got a lot of issues that he's dealing with right now with Gruden and all the different things that he had to say. Although he did spare the Jews, we were happy about that, John.
Yes, yes.
As far as we know, we haven't seen. I spent most of last night, Mike Mayo, the Gambling Gourmet, reading through, I guess, the first 372,000 of those 650,000 emails, just to see if there was anything else there. Maybe somebody else, should be on the hook. But nonetheless, Gruden was the one that got all the attention. But are you in favor of the idea that the losing team in the Dolphins-Jaguars game, all right, here comes the joke. The losing team should forfeit their passports and not be allowed back in the country. This has happened in the past. There's a precedent there. There was talk that they might leave Joe Philbin there when the Dolphins got off to yet another poor start during his brilliant tenure here.
Well, here's the thing. I think they should take a page out of Ted Lasso, and the loser of this game gets relegated to the lower league, and actually make them start a British soccer team, and then maybe Brian Flores could be the next Ted Lasso. International hit.
The time. Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
All we can say is good morning, Vietnam. Coming to you from South Florida, Jeff DeForest, Mike Lubie Lubitz in our new location, and we're very happy to be here with the Eye On channel and coming to you not only in audio, but in absolutely gleaming and very bright video. And we have a lot of people to thank for the fact that we're back on the air and back in action and back in the possibility of actually picking up a couple of checks. The Eye On channel, and this is an odd thing. Let me introduce Mike Lubie Lubitz to everybody. You guys that are familiar with our shtick know what Mike Lubie Lubitz is all about. Hey, where did he get that voice? That's the question I always get. And people are always bugging me, Lubie, about the fact that do you when they meet you, that you don't necessarily match up with the voice. But good to be with you, and now we can see you, so nobody is going to have to, ponder that question. What do you really look like? Because they picture you coming out of like not a deal Volkswagen necessarily, but some kind of Volkswagen that might be entering a circus arena. And by the way, the rental car that I was just in on my trip, of course, I got in about 2 a.m. last night. Do I look like Lubie? Good morning, by the way. Do I look like I need a cut man?
You actually
I don't look like I need a cut man here this morning, yeah.
Like he's gonna be rough today. You look good. I'm proud of you. You're like ready. You're on time. All the guys there didn't have to stress out waiting for you. Look at you. A new day.
I'm a professional. There's no question about it. And I don't like to lose a job on the first day of the job, which is ugly. Because we already lost one job, and it's interesting. And later on this week, we're going to be talking to actor Aidan Quinn. And Aidan Quinn was telling us, no, it was the other guy. It was Starmeyer, who told us that he got fired by Fox. And that was the one thing that we had in common, is that we got fired by Fox. And in fact, you and I, Lubie, are the only starters that were ever beaten out for a job by Brady Quinn, if you can think. Kind of wrap your arms around that concept. But anyway, so we're floating around without a job there for a while, and a lot of people were concerned what level we would surface on again, if at all. In fact, the gentleman that kind of got us restarted here with the Eye On channel was saying, well, do you feel like you were resurrected from the grave? And he didn't realize, how significant it was that I just spent 3 days at Keeneland Racecourse in Lexington, Kentucky. I am well and deep beyond the grave at this point. My wallet was the only thing that made it feasible to go ahead and check in a bag because it was significantly lighter. After 3 days of plunging on the races and watching favorite after favorite win, it was ugly. But so we're floating around and trying to figure out what our next move is. I call a bunch of local radio stations. We get fired by 9:40 Wins and 12:30 The Zone at the same time. 2 radio stations, same time. You guys are out of here. And I'm trying to patch things together. And I'm also thinking, well, you know what? It may be time to go on and move on to something else. So I'm sitting at home wondering what direction we're going to go in. And I get a call from a guy named Jack. And he just says, this is Jack. I mean, a very humble individual. And I say, I'm thinking, Jack, who? I don't know, and don't even bother with, the usual insertion of the joke there, and you can just ride right over that.
Exactly.
So it tells me he's got this thing called Ion Media and Ion Channel, and I'm intrigued by the fact that anybody wants to hire us, period, to do anything. Then I meet the guy, and he lays out like a dream sequence, and I thought, oh, good, I've died and gone to heaven. This is going to be great. And he introduces me to his crew. Brad, who was working with us this morning here, got here bright and early, set everything up, and of course, about 30 seconds of showtime, you're thinking, hey, is it working? And it is. So we have the new Defo show here on Ion Channel, and it was great because Jack's one of these guys. He just you say something completely absurd that would normally alienate anybody that you were ever going to work for, and he just nods his head and goes, "Yeah, that sounds good. We can do that." So we're really happy to be here, and it's fantastic. And all you people around the world that are watching on Ion Channel, great to be with you. And, of course, we have the audio streaming. I have a radio veteran here, a gentleman named Doug, who just does a fantastic job. He was the first guy to have us up and running, and we're streaming, 24 hours a day now?
Well, it's funny what you said about Jack, and it's definitely true about Jack. And first of all, you're wrong. They did not 30 seconds. These guys have been tireless. We spent half our Sunday trying to make this right, because these guys over with Ion and gals and Ion Channel don't mess around. They're like when we do our prep 10 minutes before the show, they do it like weeks. Like they're like, unlike us. So like talking with them and dealing with them, it's not just Jack, like any of them. You throw out something just like you and I would bullshit back and forth to ourselves, and we wouldn't think anything of it. No.
You're the first guy to curse on our new venture here.
Just to see what you do.
Lubie, yeah.
So what's great is they all.
I'm worried about you, though. Once you get rolling with the profanity, you don't stop. You're worse than Rex Ryan. You're worse than our good friend Mike Westhoff in that regard, who set the all-time record for using the F word when he was on Hard Knocks there on HBO. And he'll be joining us on the show, but I think he cleans up his act for this particular presentation.
Everyone with Ion is like not only super cool, but super inventive. Like if you come up with something, you need to watch what you say, because if you come up with it before you're done, they're already working on it.
Yeah. No, it's great. Now, we're very happy to be here. So many things to talk about here on the show. Later on in the second hour of the program, we're going to have John Congemi doing a little Dateline Dolphins, although I think we have to retitle that because it's more like Deathline Dolphins at this point, is it not? They've lost 5 straight. They go to London, and you heard that little clip in the opening if you guys join us here at the top of the show. And I really do believe that there was a proposition. Yeah, I could play the sound effect there. To get that in the soap opera, right? Now, there was a precedent for this where they left a coach in London after he lost a game there. It was the Raiders and Dennis Allen, who now were working with a new coach themselves, and they got a big win yesterday. Is that a trend if you're a degenerate gambler, a sicko, and you're looking for trends, and you don't believe in all of this weird stuff about blue moons and full moons and king tides influencing the outcome of ball games? Is it true, though, that every time an NFL team in particular gets a new head coach, they always win that opening game? It happened, did it not, with Dan Campbell, who can't win a game with the Lions, and the sick thing that's going to come out of the NFL weekend, I believe he will perform a human sacrifice after going to 0-6 on the season with the hapless Lions. That man is flat out of his mind. But they did leave Dennis Allen, remember? Raiders lost a game in London, and they didn't even let the guy go on the team plane. He had to make his own arrangements. I think he came back with Harry and Meghan on the next flight as they were exiting that torturous life they were living with the Queen. And they left him there, and they hired a new head coach. I don't know that Brian Flores is on the same hot seat that Ed Ogeron is on, which they kind of cushioned that blow, did they not? They said, well, you're on the hot seat, Ed, but we'll let you finish out the season. Yeah. And that was after he beat Florida.
It's not a hot seat. He's done. He's going to finish the year out, and then his tenure at LSU is over.
That's as hot a seat as you could get.
Exactly. He's fired.
Yeah, we'll get into that with John Congemi later on, the whole college football wacko weekend that happened. And it was crazy in the NFL as well. But are you still a believer, Mike Lubitz? You've been trying to convince people. I mean, you really are the Joel Osteen of the local sports scene. You're trying to convince people that Tua Tagovailoa is a god. And I don't know that you could blame what's going on him. I think you really have to look at the Stevie Wonder now, the organization, and the finger's going to be pointed squarely in the face of one Chris Greer, the general manager. That team was atrocious yesterday. They lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars. You know, Lubie, when the last time Jacksonville won a ball game was?
Oh, God.
399 days ago was the
God.
last time that they won a game. 399 days they went without a victory. And they go, and in the most pathetic performance I've ever seen by a team that was trying to do something in the clutch, the Miami Dolphins absolutely disintegrated right in front of your face. And we're exposed. It's interesting because teams always come in with new management, and they say they have a 5-year plan, and it's year number 3 that you're supposed to see what the real foundation of that plan is when it starts to take hold. And we're seeing it. And the one word, it's the P word, pathetic, is the only way that you could describe it. That was a disgrace yesterday, and you kind of saw it happening right from the very beginning that this thing was not going to go Miami's way.
Well, and that's the thing is we've been really hard on Greer. We haven't talked about Flores. It's funny. Flores got, because the Dolphins were supposed to be winless that first year, that when they won 5 games, we all were like, oh, wow, good for you. And then the next year when they were supposed to win 6 and they won 10, wow, that's even better. But the fact that they've only won 1 and the way they lost yesterday, both Manny Diaz and Brian Flores this weekend, Manny Diaz had a chance to kick a field goal with 20 seconds left and no timeouts, and instead runs a play with a redshirt freshman quarterback who then throws an interception as the time expires. So the Dolphins say, hold my beer, and themselves go and find a way to make it worse by losing to, like you say, a Jacksonville was like over the last 20, and with 5 seconds left, they allow them to get a playoff, call a timeout, and kick a 54-yard field goal.
That was ugly, too. And I think there may have been some influence there because the guy that owns the Jaguars is big about going over to London, and Roger Goodell needs this because imagine, you talk about perpetrating some kind of a hoax, some kind of a fraud. How do you sell the people of Europe that this is a better game than soccer when you send them the Dolphins at now 1-5 and the Jacksonville Jaguars, who coming into that ball game were 0-4 and or 0-5 and looked about as ugly as it could get. And then here's Urban Meyer. I was thinking he was going to adopt a theory that the Rolling Stones had and try and bail out on this thing because and my friend Evan, don't mention my name, gave me a good line about this, that Urban Meyer really knows how to grind out a victory. This was a guy that has just been a human embarrassment to the National Football League and maybe to the human race in general, and yet he's worshipped by people because he won a bunch of ball games at the University of Florida with a series of criminals not seen since they lined up the team to play the guards in the longest yard. And then went to Ohio State and had phenomenal success after faking a heart attack. Think about that, Lubie. That's how he got out of the job. He faked a heart attack and then went to Ohio State, where eventually, after giving up the head coaching reins and moving on to other things as a broadcaster, he also began teaching a course. What was it in? It was in integrity.
Yes.
And that class.
Character.
Character and integrity. Yeah. The two things that this man is so sorely lacking in that you would have to say that he's the antithesis of both. Now, I don't know Urban Meyer, and I'm not sure what I think about that twerking incident that he had at that bar. It does seem a little odd. You talk about a rocky start to his tenure with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Not only does he go 0-5 with Trevor Lawrence, who looked bad, and are all the Jaguar receivers, you know, they used to put stick them on the hands of the Raiders defensive backs there when they were back in the day, and they had Haynes and Lester Hayes. And we've talked about that with Mike Haynes. And, he said it was crazy because you would go shake hands with Lester Hayes and you would have to have surgery to separate your hand from his afterwards. That's how thick the stickum was. But I think Urban Meyer's going with that trend in reverse. Does he have all of his receivers dip their hands in baby oil before they go out there on the field? I have never seen worse pass receivers in my life. And Trevor Lawrence wasn't exactly. After a while, he just wants to throw the ball into the stands, doesn't he?
That's what it feels
just,
like.
He resigns himself to the idea that these guys flat out can't catch. So you were beaten by a team like that, and you're the Miami Dolphins, and you're in year number 3, about a third of the way through the season now in year number 3, and you're asking yourself, well, where this program is at this stage. And this was sold to the fans here in South Florida as a deal where, well, we're going to strip it down and build it back up. And this may be the worst position that the Dolphins have been in. Who's that guy? Igwebika, whatever his name is, the guy that has a name that nobody can pronounce.
Benogany, the corner.
Anagani, man.
Benogany.
You talk about having a bullseye on your back. They threw every pass in his direction, even though they knew their guy couldn't catch, and they also knew that their guy was airmailing the ball all over the field, and they still scored enough points to beat the Miami Dolphins in that ball game. It was a disgrace, but Urban Meyer gets off the hook there, and nobody was happier about that whole John Gruden stuff that you were playing with the intro to the show than Urban Meyer, right? Because you always want some other story to eclipse the madness that is surrounding you when your name is in the headlines every day.
100%. And she's already there, so excited for our first guest.
Get out of here. She agreed to come on the show? She's probably surprised we found jobs.
She did.
The lovely and talented Lesley Visser is going to be joining us?
Yes, sir. Yeah, first guest. She's already up, ready to go.
All right, so let me tell you this. I tell you who else is ready to go, and that's Anna down at Deal Volkswagen. Just an unbelievable job that they do down there. I'm driving a Tiguan. I got into Tiguan this morning. Of course, my first thing to do is to text Jack, the aforementioned Jack Neymar, that, well, I'm going to be late because I got in Allegiant Airlines. Is Allegiant a synonym for never on time?
Well, Spirit, I think is.
You talk about those circus cars, too. I mean, where did they get these seats on Allegiant Airlines? Now, I will say this. They're one of the few. In fact, they may be the only airline that has a direct flight. And it may as well just be known as Degenerate Airways because they have a direct flight from Fort Lauderdale to Lexington, Kentucky. And everybody knew me on the plane. It was great because every one of them was a sick horse racing fan. And yet, like I said, I mean, this was, if they call Madison Square Garden the Mecca of basketball or the Mecca of boxing, then this is absolutely, well, there are other places that would rival that. Our own, fine sponsor, Hialeah Park, of course, back in the day was one of these cathedral-type places that you go to, and you just have to inhale the place and take a deep breath and say to yourself, my God, this is absolutely what sport is supposed to be all about. So we had a good time, but Allegiant Airlines immediately sent out, I don't even think you haven't even booked the flight yet, and they've already sent out a delay message. So I literally got home at 2 a.m, Lubie. Yeah. Flight was supposed to leave at 8 o'clock. I think we took off about 10:30 finally. And by the time I actually got into the Defo household there, it was about 2 a.m. And I thought, oh, good. Perfect way to launch a new show. You'll be razor sharp for this one. All right. So Lesley Visser is going to join us. Of course, if Lesley was going to buy a car, she would know right where to go as well. And that would be Deal Volkswagen. That's in Coral Gables, which will Manny be washing some cars there at Deal Volkswagen? Because I know the upper-level brass there in Anna would be happy to give him a job. They're big University of Miami fans, and if he's suited for anything, it might be. And I don't mean to demean the guy. He seems like a decent guy. It's the same thing that we have with Chris Greer and Brian Flores. They're not bad people or anything. They might just not be suited for the job.
Might not be. I mean, come on.
They'd be happy to entertain the idea of having Manny Diaz as a greeter at the door, though, which may be his next gig, at Deal Volkswagen, where you can buy the house, take it to the house. They will deliver it to you, and you will find the lowest price on a Volkswagen vehicle at Deal Volkswagen. They will beat any price. They literally will, because they take great pride in the fact that they will give you the biggest selection of automobiles at the lowest possible price, and they do it right. People come running in there and go, hey, I want to meet Anna. I want to see if she's really what you say she's all about. And before she even says hello, she's already dropped the price on the vehicle that they're looking at right there in the showroom. It's just absolutely fantastic. Online at dealvolkswagen.com, 3601 Bird Road, right there in the heart of the Gables. A great place to get a Volkswagen vehicle. Deal Volkswagen. I have 2 Volkswagens. In fact, Jack wanted to buy the Beetle that the Mustang has, a classic automobile, and more good stuff is coming off the assembly line now with electric cars. So keep in touch at dealvolkswagen.com or give them a call, 305-448-DEEL for the best deal you'll find anywhere in town on a Volkswagen vehicle, anywhere in the country for that matter. Deal Volkswagen at 3601 Bird Road in the heart of the Gables. We'll be back in a moment. Lesley Visser going to join us here on the Ion channel. So far, so good. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Brad, for setting this thing up. Back with more in a moment. Now that.
The time.
7:24. Destination Sport Miami is here to revolutionize the sports landscape in South Florida. The largest indoor multifaceted sports complex in North America is on the way, with distinguished leaders of its various sports programs and unparalleled access to the finest indoor training fields and facilities. Destination Sport Miami will set South Florida apart as the destination of choice for elite athletic training and development, and for its dedication to youth programs and sports on all levels. A phenomenal concept and a powerful undertaking, Destination Sport Miami will also be an important commodity in the sports business community as well. Destination Sport Miami, its time has come. The championship meet is right around the corner at Gulfstream Park. The only place for live racing, Gulfstream's action has never been hotter. Whether it's on the track, in the casino, or part of the dining and entertainment offered at the Village of Gulfstream Park. Currently running Thursday through Sunday, Gulfstream's racing package is the best in the country, with all the top horses and people in the game pointing towards another tremendous winter season. Check out the remodeled first floor casino, open 7 days and nights a week, along with the many special events and concerts happening at Gulfstream Park. You can place your wagers from anywhere at firstbet.com. Check the calendar of events at gulfstreampark.com.
Hey, it's Mike Mayo, Gambling Gourmet, here for my friends at Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. You know them. It's been there for over 70 years, 2500 Griffin Road there in Dania, Fort Lauderdale. It's an institution. They've got great steaks, seafood chops, great bar, friendly vibe, good drinks, good food. And they also have a butcher shop. So if you don't want to eat in, you could take the best steaks that you want home, grill them yourself. Tropical Acres Steakhouse, they're open every day except Sunday. Go there and tell them Mike Mayo, the Gambling Gourmet, sent you.
Since day one of Old School, we've had Catholic Health Services be part of our family. They are recognized as the quintessential rehab facility in the Southeast for strokes, but it goes well beyond strokes because Catholic Health Services is in the community of South Florida to help the community stay healthy. And if they're not healthy, get them healthy and get them back on their feet quicker than they could have ever expected. They do it every single day. It's step and repeat, 24/7. Catholic Health Services.
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen. The lovely and talented one, Lesley Visser, who joins us here on the program.
Well, here's a funny story. This would only happen to me because of you, Jeff
Yes.
DeForest. So I go up. The interview was at Dan Jansen's charity golf tournament up in Charlotte, North Carolina. And people there are just astonishing. I mean, there's, Dan Jansen, Olympic gold medalist, Mike Ruzioni, Do Believe in Miracles, Raleigh Fingers, Brett Saberhagen, Jim McMahon. And in front of all these people, Mario Lemieux, right? Only one of the 3 greatest hockey players of all time. In front of all these people, Mario Lemieux says to me, aren't you on some radio show in South Florida? I was horrified.
You'd have to cringe.
That's great.
The best way to kick off your day is with Defo plus Lubie. We now return to the Defo Show.
I gotta go. Pack up the tent.
I'm not sure exactly what kind of distinction this is, but our very first guest on our new venture here on Ion Channel, as the Ion Channel presents the Defo Show, which, by the way, Jack's looking at the numbers, and they're a little bit frightening right now. He's relaying numbers to me. He says you have 6 people listening somewhere in Eastern Asia.
There you go.
And that's great. So we're developing an audience on the fly here, but you can catch us on ionchannel.com, the Defo Show. And very easy to do. And I'm not sure if this young lady is doing that, but I mean, is it any kind of distinction? Lesley Visser, a lovely and talented one. I mean, the first woman and for a long time, the only woman, there are now 2 in the NFL Hall of Fame. I mean, in there with all of the greats, Johnny U, Joe Willie, all of our favorites, Joe Montana, the great Dan Marino, and Lesley Visser, part of the scene in the NFL Hall of Fame. But what level of distinction is it to be the first guest on our new program? Because I would imagine, Lesley Visser, and by the way, how are you? Thanks so much for joining us here on the program.
Yeah, her audio is not working. I'm gonna get her on the phone lines, and we'll do her on the phones, and then next time we have her, we'll do her via here, and she promised she'll come on video next time.
All right, very first moment of panic here in our very first program, but we'll connect with.
It is what it is. It's all right.
We'll connect with Lesley Visser. No apologies necessary there, Mike Lubie. We'll figure this thing out. We'll get Lesley to call in here on the show. And always interesting. I can't imagine. I mean, you're inducted. She was standing there in Canton, Ohio, being inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame. And here she is, our first, what would it be, guest? What would it be, victim? And is our very first show on Ion Channel. Let me know when we have Lesley, Mike Lubitz, and we'll pop her into the program here. But interesting how things have unfolded in the National Football League. And one of the wild things that was taking place during the offseason is all of the psychoanalysis of Aaron Rodgers, who was just having a time of his life, right? He got married. He's got a new hot babe. He had dumped any number of women that would be considered highly desirable, although I'm not so sure that I was on board with the idea, and you know my feelings about this, Michael, that he was on board with Danica Patrick there. I don't know where you stand on that, because it's one thing to have a crazy woman in your car. It's another thing to have a crazy woman driving your car, especially one with a reputation for crashing vehicles, I would doubt that you would see Danica at any time become a spokesperson, although they do have a good sense of humor down at Deal Volkswagen, but you would have to only sell cars with dents on them.
So
I think the case. Yes.
I have our inaugural guest on the new Defo Show with Lubie here on Ion Channel.
I would have to say that didn't take long. Lesley Visser, lovely and talented one. Are you with us?
Is this an after-school special?
This isn't practice. We're doing it. We're all over the world. Jack's looking at the numbers there, and I've never seen a sadder face in my life. He looks like Brian Flores after the game when he threw the headsets down.
Congratulations to you guys. I want to know. I'm so proud to be your first guest, and of course, I have a number of things to go over that maybe this time it could be different.
Yes.
You
think we can erase the past all at once here in one program? It's impossible.
Well, are you bringing back the crying towel? Now would be a good time.
Well, we were thinking about it today, and yet here's the deal. I mean, let's let the cat out of the bag. Obviously, the character of Godfrey Lovejoy is played by me.
Really?
But do we give that away now that we're on video? Do we give that away? I mean, don't I need some kind of clowny type costume to play Godfrey Lovejoy? I don't know, what would it be. I mean, he seems to be favoring a British accent, right? Have Lubie do it?
The clown, did you just say? Some dressed up clown?
Yeah, I mean, funny how, but so I'm debating whether or not to include that in the program. But this is sad, and it's not unprecedented that a team has left a coach in London after a particularly hideous loss, right? Dennis Allen was victimized by this syndrome.
I thought maybe Shad Khan, since he had so many businesses in London, if he'd been so embarrassed, he might have left Urban there.
But Urban's only 346 victories behind Don Shula now.
But you know what? I want to go over for your listeners. And I heard you're huge in the Pacific Rim. So perhaps those people.
We got a new sushi place coming off with the Gambling Gourmet, Mike Mayo. Yeah. Get that California roll.
Your new listeners, I want them to know some of the things that have made you and Lubie so great. Okay. I do want the crying towel to come back, because remember the time that you said Godfrey said that the Dolphins couldn't block anyone on Facebook?
It's so true.
Yeah. And then you, what'd you say? One time Godfrey said, what is it you're always gargling with? Mature
Viagra. I did hit 70. That's a milestone that is not particularly, kind to the body.
But I think your listeners should also know about the diva you work with. Remember when Lubie got upset with the sound system and he walked off the show?
Yes.
And you said it was like Mariah Carey with the mic job.
Well, he nearly got us canned from this job before we started. I mean, he came in with an attitude, and I had to send Jack the message, the scene out of Casino. You don't come to Las Vegas and talk to a man like Mo Green like that, Lubie. and so he's a danger.
Is you quote Casino all the time. Do you think that's like the Citizen Kane of gambling movies or something?
I actually thought Citizen Kane sucked. I really did. I didn't see the brilliance of it. I was much more a fan of the movie my father had a hand in, and that was the Licorice Lickerish Quartet. Look, the man had to make some money. He also got canned from a job.
But remember, you know how you just always have the wrong take? Remember the first year when Donnie Baseball got here and you asked him if his Marlins wardrobe came with a straitjacket?
Kim remembered all this.
Yeah, there have been many fine moments on this show in the past, but I don't know. Do you get a clean slate when you get a new job? Like when you left like ABC for CBS? All of a sudden, did you start thinking, no, you didn't have to do that because you were a woman of great class and distinction? Maybe you had even been a predecessor for that course that Urban Meyer was teaching at Ohio State.
Oh, my God, Urban Meyer, like what? I'm calling him Beast of Burden, Urban. What do you think that is going on?
What's he been doing besides eating? I think that was my question. I mean, he's got to look like he swallowed a basketball, like he was at Midnight Madness there at the University of Kentucky, which I nearly attended the other night when we were in Lexington.
You almost went to a Kentucky game?
No, not a game. Practice. We're talking about practice.
Oh, practice.
No, it's a great tradition, but Midnight Madness is not at midnight anymore. And this was the return of these just absolutely rabidly crazed fans. And I thought about going, and then I thought about, do I really want to be with 20,000 screaming teenagers, as fine as some of these young ladies were looking as they were strolling around town and rolling around Keeneland Racecourse over the weekend. But did I want to be a part of that? I would love to be part of that atmosphere, but I don't know that I wanted to be in that crowd.
Well, number one, I thought somehow you had Urban Meyer at Midnight Madness, which was at his own restaurant, the Chop House, which I does not have a dance floor. So how are people trying to get him on the dance floor? It's a steak joint. So I would like you, whoever your investigative reporter is, I would like someone to look into that. But if you went to Midnight Madness, you'd see Ashley Judd. That's not so bad.
That's true.
At Kentucky.
That would have been nice, although I don't know if I would have been able to spot her in the crowd there. They literally had 20,000. I mean, what a big weekend it was for these people at the University of Kentucky, because they opened up and Calipari gave a very stirring. I mean, is this guy a brilliant speaker? I mean, what do you think? You know all of these college basketball coaches as well as anybody, Lesley Visser, and glad to have you, as I said, on our Ion Channel opener here. But Calipari, I mean, literally. Could charm the skin off of a snake. I mean, absolutely brilliant when it comes to, and it's no wonder when we were at the Final Four that one year in Houston, 7-footers were lined up. It said they had a separate line, like they had the felt ropes, and it said 7-footers only, like it was parties of 3 only at the old Wolfie's Rascal House. And you thought, yeah, we got another person coming, so you could get to the head of the line. And wow, I mean, very, very stimulating, speech that he gave there at the March Madness. But everybody's great before the season starts.
Well, most college basketball coaches are great speakers. Patino's fantastic. Patino would have you doing the walk of life before the show.
I did the walk of life a few times at the ATM machine, the all thoroughbred machine there at Keeneland Racecourse. My fingerprints are all over that one machine there in the clubhouse.
What do you make of your man, Ed Ogeron?
Video finally got the hot seated. finally, after all these years.
Yeah, he's going to do the voice on the, you remember the Clutch Cargo cartoons? They had a character called Mumbles. He is going to be revising the voice here. Which essentially, they get a translator up there at the press conference. You've been to a few Ed Ogeron press conferences where he says, and they go, he says that he's very happy that, the program and he have come to an agreement to leave. That's the ultimate hot seat, though, isn't it? When they tell you you're gone at the end of the season?
Well, it's the ultimate hot seat. I don't know what happened to your investigative skills, but it is the ultimate hot seat when it was discovered that he was hitting on the pregnant wife of an LSU official at a gas station.
What?
Seems like a mild indiscretion compared to some of the things that Urban Meyer has done with regard to criminals and, the coach that he hired. I mean, what a rocky tenure to begin an NFL career. As he hired that strength coach guy from, where was he, University of Iowa, who had been slapping players around. And then the next thing, he gets involved in that twerking incident, as you mentioned there, Lesley Visser, at his own place that doesn't have a dance floor.
Yeah, it doesn't. I want you to look into that. I'm telling you, there is so much more going on. What are you doing all day?
You really ask that? You know what he does all day.
I've been handicapping very badly. What do you make of this? Your years in the NFL, the entire offseason was spent. We were talking about this, the psychology behind whatever move Aaron Rodgers is going to make. And I always find it interesting when people in the media try to psychoanalyze a player. We have no idea what this guy is really thinking, do we? I mean, no clue whether he wants to be in Green Bay or not. Seemed like he didn't want to be there, and they lose that first game. He's curled up in a fetal position in the corner. He looked like LaDainian Tomlinson. Remember when he was wearing the helmet after he had fumbled the ball in a playoff game? And you're thinking, wow, it's Aaron Rodgers is a shot fighter. He's done. And now they come back and rally like they're headed for a Super Bowl championship. They win 5 in a row. So all of that blather and all of the words that were written about Aaron Rodgers seem to have been totally off track.
Yeah, most of all our rantings all summer are. I mean, one place we know Aaron Rodgers is not going to go to the Bears. Well, maybe we don't know it. But did you hear him? He started screaming at the fans, "I still own you."
Yes. Not going to endear him at the next press conference if he signs with Chicago.
No, I think the NFL, it's just become, well, in terms of stories, it's world wrestling. How about Patrick Mahomes' mother wants a rule change so that Patrick isn't credited with or blamed for an interception. She wants Kyrie Hill. She wants to make a new category. I mean, it's crazy. And then you have, whatever is going on with the Dolphins. What is going on? You got to play Riders on the Storm.
Oh my God.
Was there desire, and this is always great. You've seen it many times, Lesley Visser, your years of covering sports, where a new regime comes in, so to speak, new executives and coaches, and they say, well, you know what, we're going to strip this thing down and build it back up again. That's what we're going to do. And you may as well be building a team on a San Andreas fault. I mean, I don't know that you could have it come out any worse.
I think they're broken, don't you think? It's just really they lost their way, and I don't know. You know, Tua was good sometimes, and he wasn't good, and the Jaguars were trying to hand it to the Dolphins like 5 times. So I know I think it's really disturbing, and I love Brian Flores, so I hope they get that squared away. But well, what do you guys think?
It's a disaster.
Burial City, yeah.
It's a disaster.
I mean, they just signed Fred Hunter to be the team's main sponsor. They're selling him bombing fluid at the concession stands. What are you talking about? Hey, Lesley, can you stick around for a sec? Because we're gonna. It's now one of those deals where we can do a couple of segments here, where we have our own volition when it comes to the format. But can you stick with us for a minute?
Yes, Red Sox. Come on.
I know. I mean, you got to talk about that. All of a sudden, right there in the thick of it, and the Braves beat the Dodgers last night to go up 2-0. So interesting stuff going on in baseball. We'll talk about that with Lesley Visser here. Ion Channel presenting the Defo Show with one Mike Lubie Lubitz. He cleverly worked his way into the title on the Ion Channel. You can find us ionchannel.com, the Defo Show. People watching and listening all over the world. And we'll be back with more with Lesley Visser in a moment. Now that.
The time
7:44.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. What if I told you you could go to a great restaurant, feel completely safe because their COVID protocol is unmatched, have an amazing meal, have a great time. When the bill comes, you won't get sticker shock. You're going to say, that's too good to be true. No, it's not, because I'm talking about Texas Roadhouse. Great family atmosphere, great atmosphere for a couple, great atmosphere if you just want to go by yourself and watch a game and have the coldest beer in town. And while you're doing that, have the best bread in town. All at Texas Roadhouse. Everything you get there is fresh every day and made sure is served at your table, hot and ready to go. And the best part is you don't get sticker shock because the prices are amazing. Texas Roadhouse.
Play the ponies in style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park.
Yeah.
Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Grass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey, it's the Gambling Gourmet, Mike Mayo here for my friends at Shenanigans Sports Pubs. You know them. They're great for wings, burgers, barbecue, and there's two locations. The original is right at TY Park, Sheridan Street, Park Road in Hollywood. Second location, the east side, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. My friend Patrick, he knows how to get it done. It's a great family-friendly atmosphere. All the big
this is great, man.
Sundays, go there. Their wings are legendary. The Shack and Grilled wings, I love them. Late night dining, daily drink specials. It's all there.
I mean, it's pretty smooth.
And tell them Mike Mayo, the Gambling Gourmet, sent you.
Recently, we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us.
Oh, yeah,
Anytime
when
of
they
year,
say 'em.
things can happen.
Where'd you
to your
find
home
this
or
guy?
business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your
Where'd
enemy.
they find this
Verizon
guy?
Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go.
Hopefully
so much
these are your
easier.
investors.
Before you call the insurance company, call Verizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752. Would you go into court without an attorney? So why would you go up against an insurance company without Verizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa? 7 to 10 times more money recovered with a public adjuster than if you went on your own. If there's no recovery, there's no fee. Give them a call at 954-809-8752. Why go up against insurance companies alone when you can have Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa on your side?
Destination Sport Miami is here to revolutionize the sports landscape in South Florida. The largest indoor multifaceted sports complex in North America is on the way, with distinguished leaders of its various sports programs and unparalleled access to the finest indoor training fields and facilities. Destination Sport Miami will set South Florida apart as the destination of choice for elite athletic training and development, and for its dedication to youth programs. And
Can you hear me?
A phenomenal concept and a powerful undertaking. Destination Sport Miami will also be an important commodity.
I hear you guys. Do you hear
community
me?
as well. Destination Sport Miami. It's time
Okay.
to come.
Okay.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, astrophysicist extraordinaire, with us here on 940 Wins, 1230 The Zone, and around the world on the iHeartRadio app. Now, you do a lot of podcasting, and you're very diverse in the things that you cover, including one with basketball star Kyrie Irving. You know, we picture Kyrie Irving lighting incense and chanting Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. What was it like? I mean, the conversation with Kyrie Irving, especially in matters of astronomy.
Here's the thing with Kyrie Irving. So as you may know, and of course, if you knew enough that much about him, you would know that for a while there, he was a big fan of the flat earth. And so my response to that is, by the way, we care about Kyrie Irving because he's good at basketball. So people say, oh, you should not talk about a flat earth. And I'm saying, I don't care if Kyrie Irving wants a flat earth. He's a basketball player. There's plenty of jobs you can have in this world while you think Earth is flat. Just don't let the head of NASA be among them, right? Just you live in a free country. You should be able to say what you want. And so I wasn't as distracted as other people were. I don't get my science from Kyrie Irving, and I'm not going to get basketball lessons from the head of NASA. Period. So that's how I look at it.
From South Florida to the entire world, thank you to the iHeartRadio app. Here is Defo joined by Lubie on The Defo Show.
Lubie doing some engineering here on the fly, and we thank Brad, of course, here from Ion Channel. And Jack is texting and doing all kinds of crazy things here. And he's saying, so far, Lubie, and this is good news, the reviews are semi-favorable, which we'll take semi-favorable.
That's a win.
Anytime. Yeah, I mean, it's a whole new ball game here, and I think that's going to be one of our taglines. I think we just recorded one of those liners that Doug was looking for. But we do have the lovely and talented Lesley Visser with us, and we've even done, an extra job of cleaning up some of the audio here. And Lesley with us by a new methodology. And Lesley, I know you wanted to talk about your Red Sox, and baseball is great. It kind of gets shuffled into the background on a weekend when the NFL is playing, and just wild stuff going on in college football. And yet, it should not be considered an afterthought that the Red Sox embroiled in an American League Championship Series with a chance to go to the World Series, and sitting there at 1-1 with the vaunted Houston Astros, who I would have to think might have been favored in that series. I mean, what does that do? I mean, the fans in Beantown, they'll root for the team no matter what. They're a lot like Cub fans, good, bad, or indifferent, although they'll complain about it a lot more. But this was a team that really has been fascinating this year because they weren't expected to do anything. And here they are, right there, riding a nice wave there in their championship series quest.
Did you say shuffled to the background? I don't think so. When Christian Arroyo went to the Patriots game last night, that got the biggest ovation probably in the entire NFL, with Dancing on My Own playing in the background. I hope you guys can adopt that song. Maybe you'll have a winning season. So
Wow.
it is on first of all, be like Kike. That's got to be one of your lines. Be like Kike. That it's unprecedented what he's doing, which I'm sure you've noticed.
Oh, fantastic. No, the guy's having a wild postseason, and wow, how ironic, right? Comes from the Dodgers and doing a great job. Alex Cora, who was shamed by the whole incident there in Houston when remember when Carlos Beltran was like Tito Puente Jr. and he was banging on those garbage cans.
What do you think? This is terrible what it says about me. That, of course, they were the worst cheaters. They shouldn't even. Matter of fact, I just had Dan Duquette, who, as you know, was the general manager of 3 major league teams. I do a podcast now. And I was agreeing, that the Astros should not have, they shouldn't be entitled to call themselves World Series champions. But then, of course, now that Cora's with us, it's like, yes. Now he's the greatest. But I do think that there's some factors really working for the Red Sox. I mean, now they have 3 at home, having 2 grand slams in 2 innings, which I'm sure has never happened
Unprecedented,
before.
Yes. Yeah, I don't think there's ever been 2 grand slams in a postseason game before by one team.
Well, I love it when Dusty Baker's entire philosophy, his ethic is 2 out hits. And I think they got both grand slams, didn't they? Or at least one of them was on a 2-out hit. But I think that they seem to have Eduardo Rodriguez is doing enough. I'm not sold on Chris Sale, but I really believe the Red Sox are in position now to get to the World Series.
That'd be awesome. And of course, the other series ongoing, and the Braves take a 2-0 lead over the Los Angeles Dodgers and beat Scherzer last night, which I guess was a bit of a shocker because Scherzer had been so solid for the Dodgers. One of those tales that looked like the Doyle Alexander late season trade, where Alexander went to Detroit, helped them win a World Series, and unfortunately, the Tigers happened to give up in the process an unknown prospect named John Smoltz.
Yeah,
made that one of the worst deals in baseball history.
Now on the broadcast, what was the other one? Milt Pappas was it like Joe DiMaggio or somebody? That was one of the worst trades in history.
One of my favorites, and I love this player, and he passed away during this whole COVID thing, not COVID related, but Lou Brock for Ernie Broglio.
Oh, yeah.
Is one of my all-time favorites. Yeah, they got a 260 hitter from the Cubs, and everybody's like, what? You gave up a 20-game winner? And Broglio flamed out, was never the same. And, of course, Lou Brock went on to a Hall of Fame career and was brilliant in every aspect of the game, and, was a very diversified guy, right? Was also a well-known florist, if you can imagine that.
Are you sure he wasn't a flautist?
Could have been. I don't. Guy was talented, and it's unfortunate because I was a big fan of the stolen base, and you don't see it as much, although it is starting to filter its way and ease its way into the postseason as a significant factor. Interesting too. Yes.
You know what I loved last night was Rosario just played with that abandon. That he stole the base. It was probably not the right time, and then that third base coach's arm must have been falling off.
It looked like Renee Latchman, yeah.
Yeah, waving everybody.
Just wave everybody in. Yeah.
But they play with some kind of a joy. What's with the pearls with Peterson? Do you know the story? Why is he wearing Ruth Bader Ginsburg pearls?
I can only think it has something to do with his mother, or else he's dating a woman who, is very adamant about the idea that she wants to be recognized at all times. It does seem a little bit silly, though. You don't know the story behind that? I would think if anybody did, it would be you.
I know, and I meant to. I remember the great thing. Of course, now he's our guy, but I remember when, what was it? Who was it? He dressed up as the rally banana. Wasn't that Hernandez? When he was with the Dodgers, he dressed up as a banana. And I have to say the Red Sox are playing that way too. It's like it's all house money. And now for me, this is for Gurgles. You think Gurgles is listening this early?
No.
I'm not sure. No, I would think no. I'm negative on that.
Well, then
unless he's living in Eastern Asia, which
unless he's still in
is
London.
Our strongest contingent of followers right now.
Well, if he's listening, I personally want it to be, of course, the Red Sox and the Braves. And why is that?
Red Sox and the Braves. I don't, because you think they can beat the Braves, of course.
No, because they were the Boston Braves originally. Let's get with it.
Hank Aaron,
Bomb insane and pray for rain.
Yeah.
So I would love it to be the Braves. It would, and also I don't want to hear 2 weeks worth of Mookie going back to Boston. I don't want to hear that.
Well, it doesn't look good right now for the Dodgers, losing with Scherzer last night, and they were up 2-0 in the ball game, and you would think that would be a very favorable position. Dusty Baker is actually one of my favorites, Lesley Visser. You can appreciate this because as a young journalist, do you remember some of the early people that were of any level of prominence in the sporting world that you interviewed and how they treated you? And of course, you were the pioneer, still wearing the coonskin cap. You were the pioneer of women broadcasters and journalists. And, they didn't always treat you right. You dealt with a lot of flack.
Yeah, I'll tell you two things. One on Dusty Baker, that's a funny story. And then another one that I just had to sort of gut out. Dusty Baker said that as a player, he only played in Fenway, I think 5 or 6 times. And he said the first time he was there, the visiting team used to stay in the Hilton, which was about 3 blocks from Fenway. And so Dusty Baker said that the first time he was going to walk over to Fenway, and he walked out of the Hilton and he said to a guy, which way to Fenway? And the guy said, wise ass. Like, who doesn't know the way to Fenway? But I will tell you, I had a really tough personal story with Dale Murphy, who's beloved. You saw he threw out the first pitch. But Dale Murphy is very Christian. And when clubhouses were first open to women, obviously I was one of the first women, and I had to cover a playoff game down in Atlanta. And he said, if she comes into the clubhouse, I won't speak to anyone. So that made me the bad guy, which, was really unfair. But the great Peter Gammons and you must remember Dave Anderson, the columnist for the Times. Sure. They stayed outside in the dugout with me. But there were really tough times there where not everything was on the side of inclusion and equality. So, but he was always a great player, Dale Murphy. It just was a tough time.
Why do I get the feeling that Mike Lubitz would have been the guy going, I'll go in there and talk to him? He was standing out there arm in arm with greats like Dave Anderson and Peter Gammons.
Isn't Lubie the guy who left before Ray Allen stepped back 3 to beat the
Yes.
Spurs? Yes, I do believe I recall that. Which, by the way, broke Popovich's heart. And Popovich said, this is what you left, Lubie. Popovich said that he will feel like his life is back in balance if he can go 2 days and not think of that shot. So very good, Lubie, that you left.
He had his nose pressed to the glass like I did that time I wanted to get into the simulcasting gold room there.
Yeah.
Speaking of another classic at Churchill Downs when I was
I will
desperate to
tell
get down
you,
on a race at Tampa.
Yeah. Your friend Rick Pitino still brings it up. Remember how you met your husband when Defo annoyed you?
Yeah, I did do some good in this lifetime.
Exactly.
I helped you meet the Duke. All right. Well, we thank you, Lesley Visser, for being our very first guest, our Ion channel. I hope you'll be a frequent guest on our Ion channel presentation of the Defo show, which did you notice? I don't know if you saw any of the press and some of the media stuff that's out there. This Jack Neymar is all over it with social media, and the logo for the show not only features Lubie's picture first, but his name is now atop the billing for the program.
You know what? The guy has a great reputation. I think you're in terrific hands with Jack. But I saw or I heard that you were revisiting some of your Radio Row interviews. And
Yes.
I think I turned it off did you ask the elegant, gracious Dick Vermeil about his winery? Was he bombed at every game? Did I hear you ask Dick Vermeil that? All right, that's enough. Good luck.
We love you.
Thanks so much. Yeah, the first hang up here on our Ion channel presentation. The lovely and talented Lesley Visser, ladies and gentlemen. All right, this is going to be interesting. And I don't know that it's fair to characterize this next hour of the program as merely being Dateline Dolphins. Because, I mean, this reminds me of what, and I've been writing this book for a while on my career, fortunately, because of Jack and Brad and people here at Ion Channel. Not over yet.
Yes.
But when I do put the book out about my career, it will be called Death Threat on Line 2. And we're worried if we open up communications here with our listening audience. We appreciate the people tuning in and finding us here, and it's pretty easy to do. If you want to look at the video, and you can make your own determination about whether or not I needed a cut man to come in today. I felt like having my friend Jackie McCoy out of Los Angeles. He's a great cut man, brilliant at the Olympic Auditorium. Everybody that was fighting wanted to have him in their corner. But if you understood the circumstances of this quick turnaround, you would realize that the video might be particularly hideous today, but only stands to improve from here. And you can find it ionchannel.com, The Defo Show, and they're doing a brilliant job putting this whole thing together. Now, we don't have John Congemi. Will he be on video with us today? Mike Lubie
He is fair through this. It's his personal choice if he wants to be on video or not. I'm leaving it up to our guests. I'm not. They're used to being able to hide and do whatever they want. Now it's their choice if they want to be on video.
So if they were making ugly faces during the course of the interview, like what kind of screwball question is that? And is that guy going to let me talk? Then, you would now be able to see, some of those frightening looks that they were giving to the camera. But John Congemi, the problem here is he's too good looking for the show. Would you agree, Mike Lubie Lubitz? I mean, the guy...
Compared to us.
He still looks like he could be chucking a rock there for the University of Pittsburgh, following in the footsteps of the great Dan Marino. John Congemi, Dateline Dolphins, also known now as Death Threat on Line 2, going to join us in the next hour of the program here on our launch on Ion Channel, presenting the Defo Show with Mike Lubie Lubitz. Halfway home there, Mike Lubie Lubitz on the first program.
Look at you.
Brett, did Jack leave the building now, Brad? Oh, he just walked down. All right, back with more in a moment. Now that.
Hey, it took him half a show. That's impressive. I thought he was going to do it at the beginning.
He's been flooded with calls and texts from his investors.
What was this? What did I do?
What the fuck, Jack? All right, back with more in a moment. Now that.
The time.
We did have Lesley Visser on. That was good. It's 8:03. Destination Sport Miami is here to revolutionize the sports landscape in South Florida. The largest indoor multifaceted sports complex in North America is on the way. Distinguished leaders of its various sports programs and unparalleled access to the finest indoor training fields and facilities, Destination Sport Miami will set South Florida apart as the destination of choice for elite athletic training and development and for its dedication to youth programs and sports on all levels. A phenomenal concept and a powerful undertaking, Destination Sport Miami will also be an important commodity in the sports business community as well. Destination Sport Miami, its time has come.
Since day one of Old School, we've had Catholic Health Services be part of our family. They are recognized as the quintessential rehab facility in the Southeast for strokes, but it goes well beyond strokes because Catholic Health Services is in the community of South Florida to help the community stay healthy. And if they're not healthy, get them healthy and get them back on their feet quicker than they could have ever expected. They do it every single day. It's step and repeat 24/7. Catholic Health Services.
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
The championship meet is right around the corner at Gulfstream Park. The only place for live racing, Gulfstream's action has never been hotter. Whether it's on the track, in the casino, or part of the dining and entertainment offered at the Village of Gulfstream Park. Currently running Thursday through Sunday, Gulfstream's racing package is the best in the country, with all the top horses and people in the game pointing towards another tremendous winter season. Check out the remodeled first floor casino, open 7 days and nights a week, along with the many special events and concerts happening at Gulfstream Park. You can place your wagers from anywhere at firstbet.com. Check the calendar of events at gulfstreampark.com. Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Get it, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen. Jimmy Johnson joins us here on the program, along with John Congemi and its Dateline Dolphins, of course, Lesley Visser, the lovely and talented one.
It was always different. You had to know if it was Emmitt Smith, if you screamed at him, he was going to go into a shell. I wasn't going to get anything out of him for the rest of the day. If it's Charles Haley, he was going to get upset at me and maybe threaten me on my life. And
I mean it.
Yeah, but I mean it. And he could have done it too, I promise. But when he went into my office, he said, "Coach, just get on to me one-on-one. Don't do it in front of the other players." Now, Michael Irvin, I could cuss him like a sailor. And the more I cussed him, the harder he worked.
From South Florida to the entire world, thank you to the iHeartRadio app. Here is Defo joined by Lubie on The Defo Show.
Welcome back to the show on this fine Monday. Jeff DeForest, Mike Lubie Lubitz with you, the Ion Channel presenting the Defo Show with Mike Lubie Lubitz. And every Monday, we finish off the program with an hour with this gentleman, a longtime analyst on ESPN. I don't know, was the call the same, John Congemi? We welcome John Congemi, of course, played quarterback at the University of Pittsburgh. Just a tremendous guy. 21 years as an analyst at ESPN. They don't make you do the perp walk when they give you that call that they're going in another direction, John? Because that's what they do in radio. I mean, you have to walk outside with security there, and, you've got that little plant that you had on your desk, and that's the only thing that you're holding because they're afraid you're going to steal the computers or rip off something or maybe go postal. But, John, good to have you on the program. And, of course, John Congemi's presence here, brought to you by Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill. And that is at mile marker 104, the Overseas Highway in Key Largo. And now that we have video, John Congemi, we're dying to go back. We can feature Jimmy on camera there and show some of that fine food that your brother puts out. How are you, my friend? All right. Not hearing John Congemi, but there you are. John, you with us? Nothing there, Mike Lubie. All right. We'll try and work that out. Another kink, a little kink here to start things out. But anyway, John Congemi, just a brilliant guy. And we titled this segment Dateline Dolphins because there was a theory out there, and we're operating out of South Florida, for all of those people that are listening and viewing us all over the world now on our Ion channel. I mean, you talk about an expansion. We went from a radio station, which wasn't a bad one. I mean, there were no complaints about the job. We did 11 years there, and it sounds like we were in San Quentin. But no, it was a pleasurable ride, and we had things rolling. And that's always when things get busted up. Doug, our radio guy here, who does all of the different audio channels for Ion Channel and Ion Media, could tell you that just when things reach their apex, see, it's one thing to get fired after a loss, but just when you're at the very height, the absolute very height of what your accomplishments are in a radio situation, that's when they decide to go in another direction. And it's particularly ugly. But we thought this, and this was an old-time radio theory here in South Florida. A friend of mine, the great Eddie Kaplan, often mentioned, you talk about a degenerate's dream, said, and there was a time that this was possible, that you could go on the air, and this may be true in other cities, and talk about nothing but the Miami Dolphins. Nothing but the Miami Dolphins, 24 hours a day, and you would probably be one of the most highly rated stations in town. I'm not sure that that's true today. And John, can you hear us finally? I think we've worked out our problem. John Congemi with us here on Ion Channel. I almost said 940 wins.
First one.
I was talking about it. Yeah, first one slipped up. John, how are you, my friend?
I am doing fine, guys. Good to hear your voices and good to be with you again.
Good morning.
All right, well, there's a lot to discuss, and I was just saying, that there was a time you could have talked about the Miami Dolphins 24 hours a day, and I see a contrarian theory. A lot of people think that this business of sports talk, sports talk radio, sports talk TV, and now sports talk streaming is built on negativity, and that could largely be true. But I found this, that your audience went up exponentially, grew exponentially when teams were performing well. And I don't know if you found that to be the case when you were doing all those games on ESPN, but obviously, if you had two marquee teams, you were going to have your highest viewing audience. People want to support a winner, but it's been so long here. And I don't know if you were aware of the proposition that was out there that the team that lost this game in London would have their passports revoked and not be allowed to come back to the country. Have you seen any sightings at the airport? I got in late last night. I didn't see any Dolphin players running around there in the Fort Lauderdale airport.
Exactly.
You know what, guys? That wouldn't have been a bad bet because I'm sure Dolphin fans around the world are disappointed, highly disappointed the way the season has started, and as well as losing to the Jacksonville Jaguars of all teams in London. And thank goodness it wasn't at Hard Rock Stadium because it might have hurt that much more to see Urban Meyer get over his migraines and all the problems he's had and call a play on with 6 seconds left to get him into field goal range to make the winning kick. So it was tough to watch. It was tough to view as a fan and accept, but reality is reality. And the Dolphins are on par with the Jacksonville Jaguars at 1-5.
And this is a Dateline Dolphins or Depression Dolphins with the one and only John Congemi. Thanks to Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill here on Ion Channel, Ion Media. You can check us out on video. Just posted links on the Facebooks, and also you can check us out on audio as you're bouncing around. John, we've talked a lot about Chris Greer. We've sort of given Brian Flores a free pass. Have we gotten there where we're stopping that? They're 1-5, and it was a lot of coaching stuff. Tua was not the problem. The offensive line, again, issue. Defense now, which has been Brian Flores' thing, an issue. Are we now starting to blame Brian Flores? Like, what do you do when it comes to the management and the coaching staff?
Well, I don't think anybody is off the table in terms of criticism right now. When you're 1-5 and you're coming off a 10-win season, I think the expectations were so high that even if the Dolphins had a solid year and won 8 or 9 games, it wouldn't have been enough because of the hype that was thrown upon the Miami Dolphins in the offseason. And you look at the game yesterday. I mean, that's just a microcosm of the season, right? You're in a game that you should win. Your quarterback, who you selected 5th overall 2 years ago, has a really good game. I mean, good enough to carry a team to a victory. You get some weird things that happen in the game. After the first drive, I mean, just remember way back when the Dolphins played New England at New England. First drive, Tua goes down, bing, bing, bing. Dolphins score up 7-0. We're going to have 12 wins, 14 wins this year. Everybody, Dolphin fans, are so excited. But the next couple of drives, even though Tua plays well, they don't finish. They don't get into the end zone to get that separation against a bad defense in Jacksonville. They settled for 2 short field goals, 33 yards and 24 yards. Defense does a pretty decent job, but coming out of halftime, it's been the same old story. The Miami Dolphins defense has allowed 4 out of 5 opening drives to start the second half points. They allow points. They allow a long drive to kind of beat up and take out some of that momentum out of the game. But they find a way to fight back. They get a huge stop on 4th down. That turned the momentum in the second half. The offense responds, Tua responds. He comes back with a 91-yard drive to take a 3-point lead at 20-17. All is forgiven, right? You feel like you're going to find a way to get out of London with a victory. But then you mentioned the coaches. You mentioned some of the decisions down at the end of the game, maybe some of the offensive play calling. 4th and 1 has been a problem for the Miami Dolphins since Lusaka Polite left the planet and went to work for the NFLPA or went to work for the Trust and back to the University of Pittsburgh. They haven't had a lot of consistency running the football in short yardage situations. Well, Malcolm Brown gets stopped on a 4th and 1. You have the 2 coaches challenges down at the end of the game. It was clear on the Gaskin catch, not catch, it ended up being a no catch, that the tip of the football hit the ground. I mean, you could see that clearly from the video replay. So whoever's up in the booth made a mistake. They should have went down and said, you know what, coach, it's close, but you can do it if you want, but the video is not going to overturn it. On the field was the drop. It was called a drop. It's not going to happen. Now, the one with the punt, I'm not so sure if that was some mirrors that were playing a trick on me, but it looked like the tip of the fingers.
Okay, let me ask you that. It clearly hit his finger, right? Like the ball changes trajectory. It just doesn't do that magically.
That's the problem. It's clear to Dolphin fans. I've got aqua and orange goggles on, right? It's clear to me, but with the guys in the zebra stripes and the guys that are in the booth and maybe in New York looking at it on video, that ball never loses rotation. It never turns. So you don't have that video evidence to overturn the call on the field. So you go 0 for 2 on your challenges, and then at the end, Urban Meyer uses a Dolphin timeout to reconsider what he's going to do on the Hail Mary, gets a quick pass, gets a timeout, gets a touch, the ball's dead with 1 second, and they kick a field goal to win. So everything that could have went wrong in the scenario at the end of the game went wrong.
That business, too, they ought to have a 25-yard penalty for attempting to draw a team off sides.
Oh, yeah.
On a 4th down, 3rd down, short situation or any situation like that. And the Dolphins maybe execute. They are so unbelievable. I mean, you talk about fraud. Tua does not sell that well at all, right? They line up in the shotgun, and he kind of moves his hands a little bit a couple of times. Then he gets up under the center there and barks out a couple of off-rhythm cadence calls. And the Jaguars are like, slothing down a couple of Guinness Stouts, just saying, well, we know they're not going to run the ball. And then when they do, why don't they give the ball to the fat guy? Wouldn't that be the move? I mean, find me a Pete Johnson or somebody that can get you 1 yard in that situation. But there ought to be a 25-yard penalty for attempting to draw a team off sides in those situations, and then either incurring delay of game or, just going ahead and calling a timeout at the last second there.
It seems like Tua would be better off handing out $100 bills to the defensive lineman as he walked around the offensive line. Say, hey, any one of you guys, just do me a favor, just flinch, just get in the
one time,
or bring Solomon Kinley back there. You got a 330-pound guy, put him in the uniform and get him at fullback. You're right, because everybody in the league does it, and no one really snaps the football. That would be the thing to do.
Yep.
25 yards. You send them all the way back. In fact, you call it a safety if they attempt to do that. And that would get that hideous thing out of the game. It's the same thing with me with allowing a team to call a timeout or a coach to call a timeout just as the kicker is approaching the football. And they grant him the timeout. And everybody talks about icing the kicker, and yet the guy gets a chance to kind of take a deep breath, walk around, usually misses the kick when he takes a swipe at it. And then after the timeout comes back and makes like a 53-yarder to stick it right in your face. So, was it true? Did you check out this rumor, John Congemi? We have John Congemi with us here on Eye on Channel, the new Defo show, a whole new ball game here with Mike Lubie Lubitz, brought to you by Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill in the Keys. Is it true, and we're checking out rumors that Urban Meyer did not return with the team, the Jaguars from London, and was found in some pub hitting on the Queen?
No,
You were putting nothing past this guy. By the way, what's he been doing besides eating and getting himself in various jackpots?
I don't know. That, you know what? He's just thankful everything happened with John Gruden and all the heat's off of Urban right now.
Yep.
I think, you know, all the eyes are off of Urban. He's in that tunnel going to one of the pubs that they found for the Queen, right? He's
Jolly good fellow. Yes.
Exactly.
That's right.
Shakespeare had to be rolling over in his grave just looking at this matchup, right? What a disgrace. I mean, if you wanted to insult the British. Now, we know they like soccer, so they'll accept any dreck that we send over there, but not exactly a marquee matchup. And we know this con guy that owns the Jacksonville Jaguars, who has to be just a master at looking the other way when problems present themselves to survive all of this nonsense that he had with Urban Meyer. But, wow, I mean, what kind of selling of the National Football League is that to send the Dolphins to London to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars, who, if I'm not mistaken, are the Jaguars the most frequent visitors to the city of London in these across-the-pond games?
I believe so. I think they've been there every season, just about. And I don't think there's ever been a matchup of winning records that the NFL has sent to England for a game. But yet the fans come out, 60, 70, 80,000 fans, as many as you can fit into a stadium, they come out to watch.
That's crazy.
They don't care, man. They're singing, they're drinking the whole time. I mean, think about this. They watch soccer for 90 minutes and think it's interesting. Little men in shorts running back and forth, just back and forth, aimlessly wandering around a giant field with a goal that is cavernous. I mean, in terms of its size, by compared to any other goal that we've seen in a game that has one. And sure enough, they still can't kick the ball in there. A giant ball, they can't kick it in there. It's incredible. Well, with a goalie who, looks to be dyslexic and is always diving the wrong direction, no matter where the kick is going. All right, well, we'll take a look around the National Football League with John Congemi. Also, very interesting week in college football, including on the local scene here. Now, the seat finally was laced with flaming charcoal there for Ed Ogeron, who worked out an agreement. And that's good because in some ways, it's nice to know what's going to happen there at LSU. But it robs us of a great topic every week on the show. Is Ed Ogeron on the hot seat?
Yes, he finally is.
Lubie was screaming about Manny Diaz, and he's another one of those guys, John. And we'll get into this in the next segment on the program. That you're kind of hoping he would do well because it's been a long time trying to fix it since the heyday of Hurricane football. And I know we've discussed this in the past, what the expectations might be, and you have very modest expectations for the Hurricane program, saying they will never, and I believe this to be true also, they will never rise to that level of prominence. Well, I don't have that many years left, but you guys do, in probably your lifetimes. That happened once. It was magical, and I don't think it's going to happen again here because of a variety of circumstances, but nobody expected it to be this bad. So we'll come back. We'll talk about that with John Congemi, take a look around the National Football League as well and the college football slate in just a moment on the new Defo show here on Eye on Channel, presenting the Defo show. We're also brought to you by Destination Sport Miami, and that is going to be the largest indoor facility, multifaceted sporting facility anywhere in North America. Just a fantastic project there and put together by a lot of great people. So we'll tell you more about that as well as we begin our launch here on Eye on Channel, and back with more with John Congemi, Dateline Dolphins, also known now as Death Threat Online 2. In a moment. Now that.
The time.
Hey, you got a call, John. Yeah, the team sucks. What do you got to say? I'll hang up and listen. It's 8:23. Destination Sport Miami is here to revolutionize the sports landscape in South Florida. The largest indoor multifaceted sports complex in North America is on the way, with distinguished leaders of its various sports programs and unparalleled access to the finest indoor training fields and facilities. Destination Sport Miami will set South Florida apart as the destination of choice for elite athletic training and development, and for its dedication to youth programs and sports on all levels. A phenomenal concept and a powerful undertaking, Destination Sport Miami will also be an important commodity in the sports business community as well. Destination Sport Miami, its time has come.
Hey, it's Mike Mayo. When I like to eat well, I love going to Cafe Seville in Fort Lauderdale. It's gambling gourmet approved. They're at 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. They're a Fort Lauderdale perennial. They've been there since the 80s. Joey Esposito and his better half, Sally, they've been running the joint for the better part of 2 decades. It's cozy, it's comfy, and they've got the best in Spanish and continental cuisine. They've got paella. They got shrimp with garlic sauce. They've got this stuffed veal chop that's fantastic. It's open every day except Sunday for dinners at 5 o'clock. Go to Cafe Seville on East Oakland Park Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale and tell them the Gambling Gourmet Mike Mayo sent you.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. What if I told you you could go to a great restaurant, feel completely safe because their COVID protocol is unmatched, have an amazing meal, have a great time. When the bill comes, you won't get sticker shock. You're going to say, that's too good to be true. No, it's not, because I'm talking about Texas Roadhouse. Great family atmosphere, great atmosphere for a couple, great atmosphere if you just want to go by yourself and watch a game and have the coldest beer in town. And while you're doing that, have the best bread in town. All at Texas Roadhouse. Everything you get there is fresh every day and made sure it's served at your table, hot and ready to go. And the best part is you don't get sticker shock because the prices are amazing. Texas Roadhouse.
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen.
Since day one of Old School, we've had Catholic Health Services be part of our family. They are recognized as the quintessential rehab facility in the Southeast for strokes, but it goes well beyond strokes because Catholic Health Services is in the community of South Florida to help the community stay healthy. And if they're not healthy, get them healthy and get them back on their feet quicker than they could have ever expected. They do it every single day. It's step and repeat 24/7. Catholic Health Services.
Oh, yeah. Maybe just...
Coming back with more on this week's edition of Dateline Dolphins with John Congemi. Always a lot of fun having John on the show. Marino, did he ever honor one of those running play calls that Shula would send in?
No, that was the one when he just waved at the sideline with disgusting. I got it.
Yeah. You know there's going to be some kind of audible call. Yeah,
actually,
No way.
traffic, it's kind of a brief.
86 to play. That was the call.
The modern day odd couple,
We could roll that a
Defo
little
and
later
Lubie,
tomorrow.
are on now. It is, of course, the Defo Show.
Being morning, Brian.
Welcome back to the show, and I'm very happy to be with you here on ION Channel. And Jack's getting some favorable results here, and that's great. That's a good thing. He hasn't left the building yet, which you don't like to see a guy that's running the show and has the whole facility walk out on you on your very first show. And you know, with a face and maybe some expletives that you can't hear because you have headphones on, but you can see him mouthing the words. And Brad doing a great job. John Congemi, Dateline Dolphins with us. There isn't much more to say, I guess, about the Miami Dolphins, but a very interesting week all around the National Football League and college football. John Congemi, of course, a longtime analyst for ESPN on college football and a great American as well. Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, proudly sponsoring John Congemi and Dateline Dolphins. John, let's look at a few of the other things that happen around the league. And from a degenerate standpoint, this was the first thing a friend of mine said to me yesterday because we were trying to figure out how to get our money back from the capital that we were blowing at Keeneland and the various simulcasts. So we were betting on the ponies for the last 3 days. And so we thought, well, maybe we can bail out with a football game. And my buddy says, well, you ought to take a look at this Raiders game because anytime a team gets a new head coach, especially in football, they usually go out and perform very well in that first game. Did the Dolphins not do well with Dan Campbell?
Yep.
Who must be on the threshold. I mean, he was in tears before this game as the Lions dropped to 0-6. And we're very worried. I mean, it's one thing to have like a Jackie Sherrill incident where you have an animal sacrifice, but we're very worried that Dan is going to go into human sacrifice sometime during the course of the season to symbolize his frustration with being unvictorious at this point. But do you find it true that a team that gets a new head coach in the National Football League during the course of the season, they announce an interim guy, usually wins the game, the very first game that they play for that man?
You know what, Defo, it's funny that you go to that because, it depends on the team. Normally, when you make a change as a head coach, there's some turmoil, obviously, in the locker room. They're not having a lot of success, obviously, on the football field. So guys want to change. They're desperate for a change, and they're just looking for a new voice to maybe talk to them every day, a new plan, a new chance, a new lease on life. That's what they're looking for. And, with the Raiders, I'm not so sure. John Gruden, X's and O's, was a very good football coach, but could rub you the wrong way at certain times, I would think, if you were in that locker room over a period of time. So a new guy with a fresh outlook, and guys want to prove that it's just not all John Gruden, too. It's just not all the head coach, whether good or bad. They want to have the focus on the team. And I think that's what you saw with the Las Vegas Raiders. They went out and they executed and they played and they beat a team that I think is very average in the Denver Broncos. I don't think they're a great football team. So they had the perfect matchup, rivalry matchup, go out and prove it on the road. Let's quiet this crowd down at Mile High, and they did that.
It's interesting, too, because another one of those theories that popped up. Now that I'm thinking about it, John Congemi, we must have lost a lot of money because we were examining every degenerate football gambling theory that ever was put forward as having some semblance of validity. But the other one is, and I know this to be true, and I think if you check the statistics, that West Coast teams traveling to the East Coast to play 1 o'clock games, when a full moon has happened somewhere over San Diego. Here are the LA Chargers, and everybody's rocking and rolling with the Chargers this year, saying, wow, look at this. And I'm on board with it because I think Justin Herbert has been great, but he wasn't great yesterday. But West Coast teams traveling to an East Coast destination for a 1 o'clock start, especially, usually find themselves face down in the gutter. I mean, just impaled to the canvas there. As they take a routine bludgeoning. And that happened with the Chargers, who looked like they really had a spark this year in their game yesterday in Philadelphia.
Well, when you can hold Justin Herbert, who's been on fire through 6 weeks, to under 200 yards passing, and you get two old guys off the shelf to run the football along with Lamar Jackson, it's going to be a tough road to hoe. You're mentioning, that traveling from west to east. I've never had an opportunity to do that, but it does seem like a lot of teams in a 1 o'clock spot or an early game, or just feel like they don't arrive the same team that you saw the week before at home. That put a 21-point spot on somebody. That really dominate a football game. And you're right. The Ravens played good defense. They know how to play keep away with their quarterback, and they can really use that time of possession in their favor. And they put 34 on a good Chargers defense and held them to just 6 points. And this is a team that's been scoring in the high 20s with regularity.
Yeah, so I said Philadelphia was the Baltimore Ravens, but same theory applies. 1 o'clock start on the East Coast, and the Chargers do a pratfall there. It looked like Jerry Lewis out there performing on stage in the old days with Dean Martin. Going down, Dino. And they did. They went down in flames. Anything else stand out for you across the board in the National Football League yesterday? We know the Giants are awful. I thought the Patriots game against the Dallas Cowboys, I mean, how wild was that one? Where things just kept turning around. There were more changes in the final few minutes in that game than we've seen Hollywood starlets do to their face over the course of a couple of months with great plastic surgery. But that was just a wild conclusion. One of the most exciting NFL games, even though I despise the Cowboys and root against them every game. You still had to be entertained by the way that game wound up. And I would think a lot of the country also has that same feeling about Belichick.
Yeah, you're right. Just when you think New England was going to lose the game, you felt like they were going to win the game. and Dak Prescott company really, found a way to come back and get the field goal, get it to a position where they were going to get the football back and then make a play to win the game. I thought that was a terrific ending. And the one thing that surprises me in the National Football League, how about the Arizona Cardinals? I mean, who's going to stop this offense with an electrifying quarterback? They have weapons, teams drool to have guys that can catch the football and run the football the way they have. And the defense is playing complementary. So I don't know if you're going to find a team that's going to take down the Cardinals, but if you do, ride that team out the rest of the way because they're playing on all cylinders right now.
Another theory, John, you reminded me of, and that is, and we've been professing this for years here on the program, and now on the Ion Channel presentation, the new launch here, and that is if you could book the media's action, you would be a rich man today. And almost everybody had the Cardinals going down in flames in this ballgame against the Cleveland Browns, saying, well, you know what? You won't see an undefeated team in the league after this week. And they are proving it. Cliff Kingsbury was a guy that was mocked and laughed at in his first season. Parallel maybe could be drawn to Jimmy Johnson. And it's turning out that not only was he right about abandoning Josh Rosen as his quarterback, and going with Kyler Murray, but, maybe he can coach at this level.
And the Cardinals really did it with him, being at home with COVID. This is a team that rallied on the coaching staff as well. They had new guys. I think it was Austin Whipple calling the plays. They advanced Joseph as the interim head coach, acting that on the sidelines as well as the defensive coordinator. This is a football team, I think, that believes that they're that good, and that's scary when your belief and your talent match each other and you stay undefeated. And it doesn't really matter who's up next. The Cardinals know that they're the better team, and that's a dangerous team to go and face on a weekly basis in the National Football League.
And maybe Aaron Rodgers isn't that bitter about being back in Green Bay. It's another media theory that looks like it's gone up in smoke, that he was so dissatisfied with the situation there and hated the GM to the extent that he wasn't even going to attempt to play well this year. And we saw that first game. We were talking about it earlier this morning with Lesley Visser, the lovely and talented one. And all during the offseason, John, how many conversations did we have about what possible mindset and future destination was going to be there for Aaron Rodgers? And would he even play this year, much less play for the Packers? And after that first game, you thought, wow, time to throw in the towel on this situation in Green Bay. And all of a sudden, I think Curly Lambeau has even come back to life, thinking that the Packers are going to be champions this year.
Yeah, you know what? We thought his passion was gone for the game. He really didn't do anything in the offseason that led you to believe he really cared about football. I guess you just had to let that first week roll off your shoulder and not worry about it if you're Aaron Rodgers, because he knew what he would wanted to do. They got the patchwork situation off the field kind of remedied, but he was around his guys. And once you get around and that competitive edge starts coming out, his true talent is at the forefront, and he still got it. And the Packers, only with one loss on the season, took it to the Bears at Soldier Field.
We call it Dateline Dolphins, but we're not going to get much sponsorship there if things continue to the trend that the team is following right now. But and maybe we should get him back. You think you could talk him out of retirement? Jimmy Johnson,
yes,
who, of course, fine sponsor of Dateline Dolphins with John Congemi. Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, mile marker 104, right there on the overseas highway. We had a great time when we were down there a couple of months ago. I thought of you, John, as I was dining in a couple of places in Lexington, Kentucky over the weekend. And, one of the main dishes in Kentucky is a thing called burgoo, which I didn't realize that was made, literally made with roadkill. Like they proudly take some dead possum and throw it in a pot and cook it until you can't taste it anymore.
First thing that you thought of?
Yeah, I love that you thought of Congemi with that.
Well, I thought of it for this reason, because I thought, wow, how does this compare with the Italian fisherman pizza that we could get at Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill? And it's not favorable, I would have to say. Number one on my list of things that I wanted to eat in the aftermath of that, to get that taste out of my mouth, was one of those items that you get on the menu at Jimmy Johnson's place.
you know what, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, my brother Dominic kind of is the glue down there with Amanda and Larry running the whole thing. And we just had a terrific time getting to speak with Coach Johnson, you and I and Lubie and Lesley for about an hour down there a few months ago. So hopefully we can get back down there because the food's spectacular. The views are out of this world. The sunsets are gorgeous. And just the atmosphere, it's first class from the minute you get on property to the minute you leave. So I can't wait to get back down to Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill.
Going to be a lot of fun. All right, we'll take a look at the college football scene. Dateline Dolphins, John Congemi, Eye on Channel, presenting the Defo Show with Mike Lubie Lubitz. You can find us on video now, and that might be a little bit frightening. It is coming up on Halloween, so maybe it's appropriate
If
that
you're
we
listening
launch in this fashion.
put out there, it's IEYE on channel.com/the-Defo-show. So it's actually, we can't say it on here. It's easy enough to say it on here. Check us out. Supposedly we look good. I didn't believe that, but Visser mom herself, so we look good. So if you want to check us out, we are in video each and every day here. Thank you to Ion Channel.
You cleaned up well. Now, are you going to be able to maintain this trend? Because,
That's my fear. I'm so used to not thinking about any of it. We walk in like sandals and like a half-ripped T-shirt. Shirley's like, you have to look good. I'm like, dang it.
this is a grunge business, the radio business. But now that we're on video, we have to clean up our act a little bit. And I tell you what, we can't all be John Congemi. There are very few of those guys that look good no matter what, right? I mean, this guy could be in a bar brawl.
Hey guys.
Yes.
Yes.
I was told not to go on video today after the 23-20 loss to the Jaguars. So next week, the Atlanta Falcons come to town. I'm hoping to be on video and join you guys next week.
Are we going to find out that Urban Meyer swallowed a basketball or something? What happened to this guy? He used to be pretty svelte. Is he on some kind of hormone to treat the anxiety that's causing all of these heart attacks? And it was interesting. He comes into the stadium, and they were playing a Stones song. Here comes your 19th nervous breakdown. And that was coming from the Dolphins side. They were controlling the PA system. But he didn't have to fake a heart attack after this one. Yeah. Yeah, it was. We were still checking on that story, whether or not the Dolphins' passports have been revoked. Any Dolphins return to town, John? Do you have any information on that?
I think everybody's home safe and sound, which is a good thing. And hopefully they're going to turn this thing around because it is frustrating. It got to the fifth straight loss for the Miami Dolphins. I just hope they can find a way to get a couple victories as we turn to the Atlanta Falcons.
It's interesting, too, and we'll get into college football in our next segment here with John Congemi. It's kind of wild as, you're hearing guys and the announcing team, and if you were still doing the games on ESPN, it might be kind of awkward for you to say, well, he's an eighth-year senior out of Palatka, because this is a strange year in college football, and it's getting more and more bizarre with teams like Iowa, ranked number 2 in the country, going down to Purdue. Could hear Bobby Knight in my head as that was happening. I'm sick and tired of losing to Purdue. And sure enough, you had the number 2 team in the country go down. Alabama was beaten, although they will find a way to get them into the championship round, even if they lose their next 6 games. Back with more with John Congemi as we take you to the wire. Our first presentation on Ion Channel, the Defo Show with Mike Lubie Lubitz, returning in a moment. Now that.
The time.
8:42. Play the ponies in style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. What if I told you could go to a great restaurant, feel completely safe because their COVID protocol is unmatched, have an amazing meal, have a great time. When the bill comes, you won't get sticker shock. You're going to say, that's too good to be true. No, it's not. Because I'm talking about Texas Roadhouse. Great family atmosphere, great atmosphere for a couple, great atmosphere if you just want to go by yourself and watch a game and have the coldest beer in town. And while you're doing that, have the best bread in town. all at Texas Roadhouse. Everything you get there is fresh every day and made sure it's served at your table, hot and ready to go. And the best part is you don't get sticker shock because the prices are amazing. Texas Roadhouse.
Hey, it's Mike Mayo, Even Keel Fish Shack. You know that's a gambling gourmet favorite. It's right there at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard and that hopping corner of Lauderdale by the Sea. Even Keel Fish Shack. It has all the great seafood that you want. They also have some other things for landlubbers, but they're known for their oysters, grilled oysters, daily specials. Fish and chips are great. It's elevated yet casual seafood. Even Keel Shack, our friends Brad and Dave and Deborah, they know how to get it done. A1A and Commercial, Lauderdale by the Sea. Tell them the gambling gourmet, Mike Mayo sent you.
Recently, we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call the insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752. Would you go into court without an attorney? So why would you go up against an insurance company without Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa? 7 to 10 times more money recovered with a public adjuster than if you went on your own. If there's no recovery, there's no fee. Give them a call at 954-809-8752. Why go up against insurance companies alone when you can have Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa on your side?
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen. Congemi. We welcome to the show John Congemi, who joins us for Dateline Dolphins. John, how are you, my friend?
Defo, I'm doing well, and that's not the only thing that's going to reach a new height. I'll be at about 220, 225 after this football season if we visit too much. Because the food's outstanding down at Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill.
Grab a bagel and a schmear, plus some Defo and Lubie. Welcome back to the Defo Show.
Welcome back to the show. Jeff DeForest, Mike Lubie Lubitz, Ion Channel presenting the Defo Show with Mike Lubie Lubitz. And it's always a pleasure every Monday to go Dateline Dolphins as we originate here on Ion Channel out of South Florida, where unfortunately the football teams have been a disgrace. We wanted to get into some college football with John Congemi, longtime analyst on ESPN, former quarterback, of course, with the University of Pittsburgh. And we're seeing upsets galore in college football. Is that a cliche? I mean, it seems like you say that every year, but to see Alabama, the #1 team, knocked off, and then to have the #2 team, Iowa, which was making such a strong presentation this year, beaten and bludgeoned by Purdue, an unranked team, does seem kind of odd, not atypical of a college football season, but very interesting developments at the top of the heap. And John, I guess Cincinnati's just going to keep putting up 60 points on everybody to try and make their case that even though most of their schedule would be considered of cupcake variety, that they belong with the elite in the country. And to the naked eye, it certainly looks like they do.
Well, you can't argue with winning, and that's all the Bearcats have been doing. Now, you go back and you look at their schedule. They did have Notre Dame on the schedule, but, Notre Dame isn't Notre Dame could be Indiana. Notre Dame could be Purdue. It's one of those things where, the name kind of flashes at you, but the performance is basically, on par with a mid Big Ten or ACC team. So, all you can do is play the teams on your schedule, and that's what Cincinnati's doing. They beat, Indiana, they beat Notre Dame, they beat UCF. They're going to have Navy and Tulane coming up, which aren't world beaters, but Navy could give you problems with the option. But when you look at college football, it happens every year, Defo. You're going to have upsets. You're going to have teams that are going to get knocked off. But when you look and really watch the teams play that are in the top 10 or 15, there's probably 4 or 5 of them, maybe 6, that have a chance to kind of beat up on each other if that matchup occurred at the end of the year. The other teams are just kind of there because, hey, they have one loss, they have name recognition, they may have come off a nice win on the road the week before, but no one's going to tell me that Georgia and Alabama and Oklahoma are Cincinnati, Oklahoma State, and Iowa. It just doesn't work out that way.
Well, and I want to jump in, and we're talking about the elite, so the Canes don't fit in that. But we talked about Brian Flores with the Dolphins and Manny Diaz with the new Miami and the chain and all the stuff. And they had a nice recruiting class last year. There was a lot. He was winning the offseason, as they say. And he hasn't been, I don't know if he's been a Power 5 team in a while. Like, we understand where the Canes are, and I get it. You, Defo, me have said they can't ever be a dynasty again. But we thought they'd be pretty good. And with Clemson struggling this year, North Carolina struggling, it felt like this could be a year the Canes could seize the ACC. What is the future for Manny Diaz? Do you still have faith or any faith in Manny Diaz?
Anytime an article comes out in the local paper where your name is mentioned and they say you adjusted the buyout to your contract, it will bode well for a head coach. Now, he's going to get paid a lot of money and has been paid a lot of money, so that's okay. But the Miami Hurricanes, they're in flux right now. I mean, you look at the conference, the Pitt Panthers are at the top in the Coastal Division. I think they're undefeated in conference, 1 loss overall. But Virginia, North Carolina, Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, Miami's got to be in that conversation. You got to feel like if you're a Hurricanes fan, you're going to be able to, find your way to the top of that list and at least challenge at the end of the year for a Coastal Conference title. And be able to get in and play for an ACC championship. I mean, if you asked Miami fans, the normal Miami, from the normal Miami fan to the crazy Miami fan that thinks they're still relevant on the national stage, how many ACC championships have we won? We must have won 4 or 5 since 2001 or whenever they started in the ACC.
Nope.
It's 0.
Nope.
It's 0. And you've got to have better talent than half of those teams or those universities just rolling your helmet out on the field.
Yep.
So there's a disconnect somewhere, and it's been disconnected for a long time.
Have to give a shout out to our good friend Charlie Partridge, defensive line coach of your beloved Pittsburgh Panthers.
Yep.
John Congemi, as he has put together some dynamite units there and continues to be very impressive. That's one of my favorite lines out of any movie. And that is A Clockwork Orange, as you alluded to with the deal of having Manny Diaz and the buyout situation mentioned in the paper where they say, your name was mentioned. Yes, yes, yes. It's not a good list to be on. All right, speaking of lists and the dismissal of coaches, the hot seat, Ed Ogeron, we talk about it all the time. I'm going to miss talking about Ed Ogeron being on the hot seat because his seat was hotter than old Sparky is up at Stark. It seemed like no matter where he was, it was always the case, right? Even when he did a great job as the interim coach there at USC, they haven't been able to figure out their situation since. They've been through any number of head coaches and problems that they've had. And they're another franchise, if you want to call a college football program a franchise, I think it's fair that you can, that was at such a high level of prominence like the University of Miami and with an even longer term tradition that hasn't been able to find their way back amongst the elite, no matter how rich and fertile their recruiting grounds are there in Los Angeles.
Well, you know what, Defo, LSU, I'm going to miss Ed Ogeron because there's no other coach you could have scripted to be the head coach of the LSU Tigers, right? In Hollywood, you could not have scripted a better coach to take over, for the Tigers. But they won a national championship in 2019, if my memory serves me correct.
Yep.
2 years ago.
Okay, that's not a long time.
Yeah, I mean, talk about being impatient,
right?
Yeah.
It's not a long time in life, and especially even in SEC football, it's not a long time. Okay, so if guys have been to the mountaintop and have been recruiting and doing all the right things and getting people graduated and doing things that you should do as a head coach, where are you going to go out and get a better fit than Ed Orgeron? I just don't know. I don't know where you go. I mean, they're 4-3 overall. Okay, they had a couple of missteps, yes, but they're 2 games, away from being at the top, or 1 game away from challenging. So I just don't know. I kind of take the grand scheme of things when I look at college coaches or head coaches. It's not a knee-jerk reaction. You have to, what have you done for me lately, and what have you done for me in the past, and kind of marry those two together, right? It's not one or the other. And I just don't get it with universities and all the money they're paying these coaches. Ed Orgeron's going to walk away with, I don't know, $15 million, $18 million for doing nothing over the next years of his life. And for what? For losing 3 games potentially in a season?
He was a couple of steps away from hanging out on some street corner with a sign, which, we obviously have great empathy for people that are struggling in their lifetime. But he was very close to being that guy. And as you say, John Congemi walks away with about $15 million. The Georgia Bulldogs, #1 team in the country. And I was in Lexington. And, of course, University of Kentucky fans, always interesting, too, when you're watching the local news, which I have to give South Florida a lot of credit. Our local news looks a lot slicker than the primitive version that you get when you're in various cities, including various big cities. They do a very glitzy, glamorous job here, which is why guys like Jack Neymar and Brad here at Ion Channel have to have their work looking top-notch, because it's compared to what? It's compared to the other things that go on here in town. Very good television city here, South Florida, when it comes to production. But they were absolutely jazzed about the University of Kentucky, undefeated. Mike Stoops, by the way, John, really does look like the epitome of the old school hardcore football coach, says he. Did he put on like 100 pounds? I mean, his head got bigger.
It's Mark Stoops.
Mark Stoops, yeah.
Hey, Mark is a friend of mine, so I'm not going to say anything really bad, but he might have been in line at that smorgasbord after Herb. I don't know if he was in line first.
He'd been eating a lot of burgoo. That's that Mark Stoops. But I mean, they couldn't have been more euphoric.
He's a great football coach.
Yeah, I mean, they were looking very much forward to, and with some, a modicum of confidence. And we were watching a game at Keeneland, and of course, there was great interest in the ball game, even though I had a huge crowd out there. It was a splendid day on Saturday, and they popped the game on TV at the racetrack, and a lot of interest was being paid and a lot of attention being paid to what was going on there. And it was a straight-up shellacking of a very good team by Georgia. So how far ahead of the pack? One final thought here from John Congemi. Are the Georgia Bulldogs when it comes to the rest of the field in college football this year?
It's their defense, guys. No one can score against Georgia. No one can move the football against Georgia. And unless somebody down the line, is it Florida? Is it who's left on their schedule? Tennessee? There's really nobody there other than Florida that's going to be able to put up points or even move the football with any consistency. So I think Georgia's going to coast. If they can get by the Gators, they're going to coast into that SEC championship weekend. And, they play 2 quarterbacks. They can score points. They can hit you with the long ball. They can run it because their offensive line is very good. But it's the defense that is carrying this football team. No one can score. Nobody can really cross the 50-yard line against the Bulldogs.
All right, we know that many times in sports talk, whether it's video, audio, streaming, whatever venue you happen to be on, misery sells, and we certainly have a lot of that when it comes to our local football teams here in South Florida. And I imagine there are many fans grousing around the country, and in contrast, many celebrating. John Congemi, always a pleasure, my friend. Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill. We'll have to make arrangements now that we have this new big fancy gig with Ion Channel to visit Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill once again. We'll bring the cameras down there, production trucks, and all of the fine facilities that are available to us here at Ion Channel, courtesy of Jack Neymar and the fine crew here, and get down there and do some videos. And we're talking about having you maybe play a round of golf with Marino. You think he'll go for that? We just mic you guys up and you have a good time?
Good. Yeah, that sounds like a fun idea. I'd have to run that by Dan real quick, but I
Please
think
do, yeah.
great. And also, we have to get down to Jimmy Johnson's again because I need a good hearty breakfast. And my brother really
Yes.
did the job last time we were
Yes.
down for everybody. So I can't wait to visit, see the sights and sounds down in Key Largo again.
Fried eggs on pizza. It's kind of like when you go to
Right.
a museum and you see a blank canvas and you're thinking, that's art, but wow. I mean, it was absolutely fantastic, that breakfast pizza. John, we love you. Thanks so much for being with us here, our inaugural show, Ion Channel. We'll be talking to you every week, every Monday between 8 and 9 o'clock. And always a pleasure being with you and being in your company, John. Thanks so much for being with us here on the show.
Thanks for having me, guys. Enjoyed it, and talk to you next week.
All right.
Lubie,
Thanks.
what do you think? Did we pass the audition? I'm looking at
I think
Jack
we did.
Neymar here. He still kind of has a wry smile on his face, but he's been texting all day, and the last text he sent out just said, "Nurse!" Tomorrow on the show, John Feinstein, huh? Mike Lubitz. That should be fun, talking about the Washington football team, what happened with John Gruden, and I know he'll get to the bottom of that. Not a big fan of the Redskins organization, John Feinstein, the outstanding author. Written what, about 200 books?
Pretty much.
We've often said on the program, and, we'll mention it again to John, that he's written more books than we've read collectively. Which I don't know if that's that big of an accomplishment. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. Brad, tremendous job. Brad was here at like 3 a.m. That's when I got into town. Jack still looks happy, which, I find that a very positive reaction. Doug, tremendous job with the audio. Everybody said that was very clean. And whoever CyberMax is, thank you very much for the fine compliments. I'm Jeff DeForest. Did you have a good time, Lubie? What do you think?
Always
do we have a feature here?
Thank you, Ion. You can also check us out on 5 Reasons Sports and Believe.com for exclusive content.
All right, we'll have to come up with that later on today. All right. We'll see you tomorrow at 7 a.m. right here on these very same locations, Ion Channel. And once again, if you want to see the video and see how hideous we look, it's ionchannel.com, the Defo Show. For Mike Lubitz and all the people here at Ion Channel, I'm Jeff DeForest. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow at 7 as we leave you know that.
The time.
It's 9 o'clock.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Here to revolutionize the sport landscape in South Florida. The largest indoor multifaceted sports complex in North America is on the way, with distinguished leaders of its various sports programs and unparalleled access to the finest indoor training fields and facilities. Destination Sport Miami will set South Florida apart as the destination of choice for elite athletic training and development, and for its dedication to youth programs and sports on all levels. A phenomenal concept and a powerful undertaking, Destination Sport Miami will also be an important commodity in the sports business community as well. Destination Sport Miami, its time has come. Championship meet is right around the corner at Gulfstream Park. The only place for live racing, Gulfstream's action has never been hotter. Whether it's on the track, in the casino, or part of the dining and entertainment offered at the Village of Gulfstream Park. Currently running Thursday through Sunday, Gulfstream's racing package is the best in the country, with all the top horses and people in the game pointing towards another tremendous winter season. Check out the remodeled first floor casino, open 7 days and nights a week, along with the many special events and concerts happening at Gulfstream Park. You can place your wagers from anywhere at firstbet.com. Check the calendar of events at gulfstreampark.com.
Hey, it's Mike Mayo, Gambling Gourmet, here for my friends at Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. You know them. It's been there for over 70 years, 2500 Griffin Road there in Dania, Fort Lauderdale. It's an institution. They've got great steaks, seafood chops, great bar, friendly vibe, good drinks, good food. And they also have a butcher shop. So if you don't want to eat in, you could take the best steaks that you want home, grill them yourself. Tropical Acres Steakhouse, they're open every day except Sunday. Go there and tell them Mike Mayo, the Gambling Gourmet, sent you.
Since day one of Old School, we've had Catholic Health Services be part of our family. They are recognized as the quintessential rehab facility in the Southeast for strokes, but it goes well beyond strokes because Catholic Health Services is in the community of South Florida to help the community stay healthy. And if they're not healthy, get them healthy and get them back on their feet quicker than they could have ever expected. They do it every single day. It's step and repeat, 24/7. Catholic Health Services.
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around,